Michaela Reedmiller. I have a question about LRH's kids, as this topic came up in a recent interview. It was said that it's strange that only one child, Diana, remains in the Church of Scientology. Since they're all Thetans living already for like a gazillion years, they don't necessarily have to have a bond with their father or his beliefs, do they? Since he was only their father during this lifetime? Doesn't the concept of Thetans work this way? Sure, yeah, that is the concept behind Thetans, but that's not why L. Ron Hubbard's kids don't have anything to do with him, except for Diana, who's basically trapped at the ant base, and is still a hardcore gung-ho Scientologist and has been all of her life. Hubbard had like 5 or 8 kids or something. I mean, I think there were 5 with Mary Sue alone. He had 3 wives. He had kids with all of them. A couple of them he disowned. A couple of them tried to hook up with him and be his children. And he ended up turning on all of them. And one of them, Arthur, committed suicide. Arthur or Quentin? Quentin, sorry. Hubbard was not a good father to his children, according to every account that I've read about Hubbard as a father. He was very, very obsessed with his Scientology work. Mary Sue, his last wife, was much more motherly, much more mother hen over those kids. When Hubbard's son committed suicide, his response apparently was, damn it, God damn him, he's done it to me again, or something like it. Some kind of like very nasty, vicious response, blaming his son for committing suicide. Meanwhile, his wife, Mary Sue, was wailing in tears and, completely losing her shit because her son just killed himself. And Hubbard's response is anger at how his son has, made his life tough again. So Hubbard, I think, probably had a better... Now, this is all strictly conjecture on my part, okay? I think Hubbard probably had the closest relationship with Diana. She was his first daughter with Mary Sue, so she was the oldest of his, last brood or family. She hooked up with Scientology. She was an executive in the Sea organization very early on and very much followed in her father's footsteps. Also had a little bit of a singing thing for a little while, but mainly she was Sea Org. And to this day, she still is. In fact, I just today saw a picture of her having been sent down to Colombia to wine and dine some Colombian whales, some big money donors for Scientology down there. And there's something going on down in Colombia. We don't know exactly what it is, but Scientology's got a lot of attention on Colombia right now, and it's a little weird and a little interesting. My conjecture on that is that they're setting up shop or trying to set up some kind of a beachhead into South America instead of what they've been doing, which is going through Latin America and Mexico and going down to South America. I think they want to get more directly involved down there because it seems like between Ireland, Taiwan, and now Colombia, they're setting up shop or setting up big headquarters type things in other countries in the United States. I don't know what the thinking is behind that. Just conjecture on my part. There's something up. Anyway, getting back to your question about LRH's kids. The other ones basically just kind of drifted out of his life. I mean, L. Ron Hubbard Jr., Nibs, he's died, but he spoke out against Hubbard and then waffled back and forth, the waffling being prompted by a lot of threats and a lot of financial pressure on him by the church over the years throughout the 1970s. He testified at the Clearwater hearings in, I think, 81 or 82 against Scientology. But he was pretty broken by the church because he had worked so hard for Scientology in the 50s and 60s with Hubbard and at some point broke off, realized, something was wrong. And he's the guy who's quoted in the movie The Master as saying to the Joaquin Phoenix character, the follower of the L. Ron Hubbard character, this guy who was the son of the leader says to him, "You realize he's making all this up as he goes, right?" Like he knows that this whole thing is all just a bunch of crap. So, and that was something that L. Ron Hubbard's real son, I believe, actually was quoted as saying, is that he was just making it up as he was going. So he was a real threat to Scientology, and they put a tremendous amount of pressure. You want to talk about fair gaming? I mean, it was Paulette Cooper level fair gaming. They were ruthless with him. And so they got him to sign things to recant on things that he had said, and interviews he'd given. Like I think he gave a fairly famous interview in Penthouse magazine. I never read that because I don't read the articles. It's just a joke. Anyway, that's kind of almost everything I know about Hubbard's kids. This is not a subject I'm an expert on. I don't know, tons about the history of his kids and grandkids, but I know that much, so that's what I can share with you about it.